Well, welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be in Chapter 13, which deals with benefits. Now, if you work in any company outside maybe ministry or even ministry for large churches, benefits are a substantial part of what we call your total reward system. Many people today don't appreciate the benefits that they do have because they're really not communicated or the value is not communicated. So today we're going to begin here with this chapter that deals with benefits so that you can have a better understanding of what an employer provides for you when you go to work for them. Well, everyone, today we are in Chapter 13, and that's Managing Employee Benefits. And what we're looking at is just a broadening scope of what we saw last week with compensation and benefits and some of the tangible and intangible ways that we reward people. Well, this is an intangible, indirect award, and these are called our benefits. As we said, benefits are tangible, indirect rewards provided to an employee or group of employees for organizational membership. So it is pretty much something that is given to you by being a member of that organization. Now, benefits include retirement plans, paid time off, health, life, and disability insurance, and even more. U.S. employers often provide benefits, and taxes pay for many other countries' benefits. And the U.S. benefit cost is about 33 to 50% of payroll expenses. And then health insurance is the largest percentage. So let me discuss some of these things with you as we go through some of the foundations of benefits. First of all, you can thank the unions for benefits. Back during World War II, a price or a wage ceiling was placed on the American industries. Because of the war, we couldn't charge more or we couldn't pay more for any employee than what we were paying at that time. So the president put a suspension of any raises or anything like that on the businesses. Now, the unions had been able to, in the past, use higher wages as a way of getting people to sign up for the union, to be organized. Now, since the president took that ability to make wages higher during the war, the only thing that they could come up with was to start looking at other ways employees could benefit from the employer by the unions being able to go in and negotiate. And this is where we come up with benefits. And you may have in the past no vacation time or no health insurance or anything like that. This is what was introduced to the American worker. Now, some people believe that benefits are an entitlement, and they're not. No company has to pay benefits unless it's federally mandated. But as far as regular benefits go, employers are not forced to, or they're not required to provide the worker with benefits, but they do because today benefits have become so much a part of the total reward system that if they don't offer benefits, no one wants to work for them. So it really has policed itself. And we see today, and as you can see, look at the cost, 33 to 50% of payroll expenses. Now, when you think about a company, you may not think that you're getting paid as much as you want to be paid. And no one that I know of is completely satisfied with their pay. They would never turn down extra money. But when you take a look at what you're being paid in addition to the benefits that you're receiving, you start to have a better appreciation of what the company is doing for you, because the benefits can far at times exceed what you're being paid. So the total reward system is what you need to look at, and that does include the amount of benefits that you're getting. Now, Figure 13.1 talks about employer compensation and benefit costs per hour. And you can see here with private industry and then state and local government employees, look at how much is being paid out for, really just your benefits. Let's say, for instance, insurance. That's almost 10% of the total cost for that company just to be able to provide you with insurance. Retirement and savings, 4.2%. The government, 10.1%. Insurance is almost 12% of the total cost. And then you take a look at total benefits, 30% here, 35% for government work. So when you look at all of this, you can start to realize that if companies are offering you benefits, you are very lucky, because without them, the company would be making a whole lot more money, but the worker would be really doing without a lot. Now, benefits and strategies, let me go ahead and go through this with you. There's different types of strategies based on the conditions of the work. First of all, the size of the organization is important. I mean, you take Federal Express, their benefits, and I've heard people will work there just for the benefits. Their benefits may be more robust than maybe a little mom and pop store. Let's say, for instance, Dollar Tree, or you take, for instance, maybe Tops Barbecue in Memphis. I mean, this is a small operation compared to someone like FedEx. So the amount of benefits and the variety of benefits are certainly going to vary based on the size of the organization. The workforce competition. What is everybody else offering in that industry or in that area? If other companies like FedEx are offering more, you may want to work there before you would go to work for a smaller company that couldn't pay you as much in pay and in benefits. The organization life cycle. Now, every company is just like every person. They have a life cycle. You have the birth, you have growth, you have maturity, you have decline, and then you have demise or death. And the goal is to make it and be the only one standing at the end of this life cycle. But at every point in this life cycle, you have to make decisions. Now, if you are growing and your company is successful, you may be able to offer more in money and benefits and so forth. When you have matured, you still should be able to provide money and benefits for that company because you're already successful. You're at the maturity stage. But when your company starts to decline, you probably see a less amount of benefits because the company is not investing that much anymore. They may be laying off. They may be investing in other businesses and so forth. And then at the end, of course, you have a zero sum because you're gone. The company is folded. So at any given point, your benefits and your strategy will depend upon where you're at along the life cycle of that business. And then you have employee demographics. What about the 20-year-old, 18-year-old who is just coming into the organization? They may not want the same type of benefits that a 60-year-old would want, or a 50 or 45 or 50-year-old would want. What about the 30-year-old who has now a family and children that are growing and they need good medical or dental benefits? So your benefits are going to have to be competitive with the organization's demographics. Financial circumstances, and that's always a factor. If your company is doing well, you can afford more. But if not, then you can't. And then the corporate strategic approach, and that's just the direction that the company wants to take. They can be out in front and offer as much as possible, or they can lag behind because of economic conditions or whatever. But no matter what, these are some of the conditions that you have to consider when you're offering a benefits package. Now, benefits as a competitive advantage. Well, there are certain things that we offer benefits and we expect to get in return. We expect those benefits to aid in recruiting and retention. There are some people who will stay in organizations because they can't afford to give up the benefits. They may not like working for the organization, but they will stay because they don't want to surrender or to have to sacrifice the benefits that they're getting. And it's also a recruiting tool. When people see that you have good benefits, and if you have the opportunity, look at the video Working for Google. I may put that on the forum this week if I can remember, but if not, go to YouTube and look up Working for Google and see all the types of fringe benefits and perks and benefits that they get just by working there. It also, too, has to meet legal requirements. And again, as I've said, there are some benefits that are federally mandated that you have to provide, but a lot of the benefits that you get, the employer doesn't have to do it, but he or she will do it so that they can remain competitive in the workforce. And it's a way of the company reinforcing the social corporate citizenship and corporate social responsibility that they may feel they have. Some companies believe that it is their job to take care of their employees, and we all should, as leaders, do that. But some are all about the bottom line. They'll offer just what is necessary or what is legally mandated and nothing more. But some companies want to be able to keep their workers satisfied and provided for. So it all depends on the philosophy and the vision and goal of the corporation. Now, benefits is a competitive advantage. Oftentimes, benefits will determine which employer to work for, whether to stay or leave an organization, and when to retire. If, let's say, for instance, you're offering a comprehensive medical and dental, vision, and maybe life insurance, maybe the older people who have to deal with some of that stuff, or the young family person who's supporting a family. Those types of benefits will attract that type of person. But what if your benefits are more paid leave, more time off, flexibility to come and go as you please, and so forth? These are the things that maybe the younger people would want. And when to retire, when the benefits are no longer are costing you more, or you're at the age where you can start reaping the benefits, that may be an indication that it's time for you to leave and to start collecting retirement. Now, public sector benefits enjoy more benefits than those in the private sector, so this is usually government work. It belongs to labor unions at a much higher rate than non-government workers, and their union contracts include free health care, traditional defined health benefit pension plans, and so forth. So public sector, which is government work, are more along the lines of working with unions better, giving you better benefits, and so forth. The pay may not be as high as in the private industry, but in the private industry, they may or may not offer you a robust benefit plan. So you have that trade-off to decide what environment you want to work in. Now, Figure 13.3 is just a overview of the design decisions. First of all, what percentage of total rewards should be provided as benefits? How much of your total expenditures do you want to go towards benefits? And then you have to decide what benefits do employees value. And you can do that through questionnaires and polling and interview. And do you want standard, which is a one-size-fits-all, everybody gets the same benefit? Or do you want to give them the flexibility to choose what types of benefits they want? Also, which employees should be covered? Now, we get into part-time and full-time worker. We get into exempt and non-exempt, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But that's a consideration. Also, what is the budget for the benefits? You can only do what the budget will allow. And then you see internal versus external administration.
Who do you want to manage the benefits? Again, benefits can be very complex, and it takes a lot to be able to manage that. Do you have the resources to be able to devote themselves to a large extent administrating these benefits and so forth? If not, then you might want to hire that out to a third party or outsource it. Now, flexible benefit plans allows employees to select the benefits they prefer from options established by the employer. For instance, if a younger worker wants more time off, that paid leave may be a benefit that they would prefer. Most of them, if they're maybe 20 years old, are not worried about a comprehensive death and burial plan or something like that. They think they're going to live forever. But flexible, or what we used to call cafeteria benefits, will allow you to just go and look at what's there and pick and choose what you want. Now, there are challenges faced when providing choices. They may choose an inappropriate package. A young person may want everything in paid leave and all of that. Or they may choose the comprehensive dental and accidental death or whatever. So they may have a lack of understanding about the benefits and what they actually provide, so they may make inappropriate choices. Younger employees may decide not to participate in the retirement plan. Some of them may not want it at all. And then adverse selection. Only higher risk employees select and use certain benefits, which means that if I'm prone to cancer, then I'm going to load heavily on maybe medical benefits and so forth, or disability insurance. And then higher administrative costs for the organization. If you have one set package of benefits, it makes it very easy because everybody has the same thing. But when you're having to juggle different types of benefits, especially in a large corporation, it can become very complex, and you have the costs that go with that. Now, part-time employees, most companies don't have benefits for part-time employees. They're least likely to receive health and life insurance, but employers can create their own full and part-time thresholds. If you determine that a person can work 20 hours, then 20 hours is it, and they would be part-time. Here at Mid-America, our part-time employees work 29 hours. That's it. After 29 hours, that's the cutoff. They don't get anything else. So they're not entitled to maybe the benefits that someone like me, full-time faculty and staff, would be able to get. But the employer determines to a large degree all of that. Now, domestic partner, that's come under scrutiny. The legislation that has been proposed about domestic partners has been voted against, but same-sex spouses may be entitled to benefits, especially where there are states that recognize gay marriage as being legal. Here, the companies determine whether to treat them the same as traditional married couples. Insurance issuers cannot deny coverage to them, and employers must provide benefits provided under federal law. So again, the federal government would have a big say-so in the benefits that are being administered to same-sex couples. Not providing benefits to married same-sex couples may result in litigation. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act would govern all of that. Providing benefits to married same-sex couples shows that the organization is accommodating and respectful of all employees, can enhance recruiting, employee satisfaction, and retention. So recognizing it, conforming to the law, it's an issue that will, especially for Christians, it's going to be an issue for us. Many companies will figure out ways of going around that law so that they don't have to employ same-sex couples. But today, more and more, that's getting to be a thing of the past. Secular companies today don't recognize maybe the values and the principles that Christians uphold. So they're going to be more inclusive and more sensitive to it. Now, as Christians, it's our duty to treat everybody fairly. We shouldn't compromise our beliefs or anything like that. But we have to, as Jesus said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. So there was evil back then, and there's evil today. So that's going to be pretty much a call on the individual or the organization. I know at my church, I won't allow same-sex couples to join our church. They won't work in our church. I don't care if they're married or not. Even if they are single homosexuals, they're not going to work in church. But that's a religious organization. And there may be litigation coming up, and there has been, where companies or small companies, private companies, have refused employment. So it'll be interesting to see how all of this pans out. Now, older workers, because of the Age Discrimination and Employment Act, a worker is protected up to 70 years. So we've got a long time to deal with these people. And they're going to bring to the table as they get older and the company gets older, because many of them are not retiring. They're not going home. They're staying. Many because they've lived beyond their means all their life and they know they'll never be able to retire. Others are taking their kids back into the house and they're having to really re-raise them again. There are all types of different reasons for older workers being in the workplace, but it is a reality. So you have to look at the option of maybe doing modified work schedules if they're not able to, well, I won't say not able, but what's happening is that we're creating a bottleneck so that the younger workers have no place to go in that organization because they're all filled with older workers. So you might have to modify work schedules or provide part-time benefits. You may have seasonal travel or wellness programs, which would lead to better health, better fitness, and so forth. Annual financial planning counseling for older workers. And then phased retirement programs allow employees to work part-time and withdraw some retirement funds at the same time. FedEx did a phase-out several years ago, and it worked quite successfully for them. So there's different strategies and different ways that you can take care of even the older worker and still provide opportunities for your younger workers as well. And this is going to wrap us up for Tuesday. Make sure you take a look at the book, and we'll get back together tomorrow and take a look at some more avenues of benefits.
Today we got a chance to see some of the fundamentals of benefits, and we saw some of the specific benefits that employers can provide for the employee today. Now, Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to be going into more detail about these benefits. So it's enough to stop right here and you grasp maybe a basic understanding of benefits, and then we'll go into the specifics in the next few days. God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow.